Absolutely. Right. So some very interesting forward stocks. Going to move over now to the defenders. And first one has a pretty familiar last name. Don't know if it's any relation, but we've got Jacob Blight from Peel Thunder.
Yeah, so he's one that we mentioned, I think it was after Nathan Murphy's retirement. And we kind of covered something on Zero Hanger TV and editorially on who they could use to replace Nathan Murphy. Now, at the time, we said he's not a like for like. This is more of a big body key forward. And it seems since that he's really risen as a mid-season draft prospect and could be one of the first few picked. So key defender, featured in the state game over the weekend and was really, really strong, albeit in a pretty heavy loss to South Australia. Has been sensational for Peel, I guess, since the start of last year, since coming across from Claremont. Just really balanced, great intercept mark, obviously strong behind the ball, good user of the ball as well, importantly. And I think would have to be picked up. Now, whether it gets to Collingwood's pick now is another thing, and whether they're a club that's keen, but any side that would want to add some key position backline depth, and there are a lot that would, I think he would probably be the first picked. So you're looking at North with pick 1. You're looking at Richmond as well, who will follow shortly after. West Coast, potentially looking at a key defender, and also a local product also probably helps. And then Hawthorn and St Kilda. So they're the first 5-6 clubs. Yeah. And it'd be a good chance that he doesn't go past those picks maybe, just given A, key defensive depth, but B, just if you're picking best available talent, he's, in my eyes, 1, 2, or 3. So might be seen differently, but I think he's going to be a very good chance, and a very good chance to go pick 1. Although it sounds like he hasn't actually spoken to North Melbourne yet, so that probably gives you a good indication of where the Kangaroos are at with who they want. But I'd be shocked if the next few clubs haven't spoken to him yet.
Yep. And another popular name is Jez McLennan.
Yeah, so the first on our list who's an ex-AFL listed player, so spent 3 or 4 years at the Gold Coast Suns, didn't get a look in, came through I think a draft class that included Jack Lukosius, Isaac Rankin, Ben King, and he was like that 4th or 5th name in that crop.
Easy to get overshadowed by those names.
Yeah, when they've got 3 of the top 6 picks or whatever it was. So
he didn't play a game at AFL level?
No, he didn't. Okay. No, and then so he moved back to South Australia, signed with Central District. So he's still only 23. Like, he had a few years in the comp. Now he's in his 2nd season back in the SANFL, and it sounds like he's really back on the radar of AFL clubs. Really good season last year, but this year, just, if you want to call it a breakout year, as a half-back, but that's good in the air. I'd say like Jordan Ridley, but he's not quite the same height as Jordan Ridley. But good ball user, knows how to win it, and good intercept option. So he won best on ground on the Sunday, again in a win over Western Australia, and then won best on ground for South Australia again last month in their win over the VFL. So good chance he gets picked up. We'll get to a few others from that used to be on AFL lists that could get second or second chances, but he's probably the best chance out of most. And there's a few that are good chances, but I would like to think he would be the best chance.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so next one, Luke Beecken from Woodville West Torrens.
Yeah, so there's a few out of the SANFL and a few out of Woodville West Torrens as well. So another 23-year-old medium-sized defender. I never know whether to go off the SANFL stats site for disposal efficiency. It seems like they're pretty lenient, because he's going at 95% efficiency according to them. I've had a few others I've looked at that are going at 90%. I can't think that every single player in the SANFL is that accurate of a kick, but still obviously a good ball user, even if that number is 10, 20% off even. So that's, and he gets plenty of it across halfback for the Eagles, and was one of the best performers for South Australia on the weekend in the state game. So maybe similar to McLennan, there could be a few that are kind of keen on that, on some halfback run and ball use, and maybe it's just Richmond looking at some good talent that's in that 23 range and kind of still can come straight into a senior side. But then look at Adelaide. I think for McLennan we might have had a few more, but Brisbane are probably one for Beecken as well. Given they've got up to 4 selections, and he could be a pretty good pick if he does get to that 3rd or 4th round, where Brisbane have 2 out of the 5 picks from that point. Certainly another good mature age option from the SANFL. So him and McLennan could be quite close.
Yep. And the next one, someone with a little bit of leadership experience, so Will Patton.
Yeah, probably one that got overlooked last year in the draft, and perhaps unfortunate injury certainly played a part in him missing. Whether he's still at the level to get drafted is always quite of a hard one to discuss, given his was a key defender working alongside McCabe as well, Will McCabe, who went on to be selected by Hawthorn in the first round as a father-son. But Patton was captain of that South Australian side in the championships last year, and has stuck with West Adelaide this season, playing at a high level, state league level, and has been pretty strong to start the season. So good both one-on-one and intercept option, and pretty young, obviously still at 19. Collingwood, Western Bulldogs are probably the clubs that might look at some key defensive depth. And yeah, a good chance. One of the samples, maybe top 10 chances, but maybe more of an outside option.
Yep.
I'd say.
Yep. And last one are the defenders, so Ben Hopkins from the Dandy Stingrays.
Yeah, so one that we also mentioned as a potential Nathan Murphy replacement a month or and a half ago. So 18, obviously a top age or overage option in the talent league, averaging 26.6 possessions per game for the Stingrays across halfback. Again, another one that's pretty good aerially, but probably most damaging with the ball in hand and offering some run across halfback. So has had a pretty positive start to the season after not being maybe on the radar too heavily last year. So Adelaide, Richmond, Brisbane are the clubs that we've got listed. There certainly could be a few more, but again, maybe a later pick potentially, if anything.
Yep. Interesting. All right. So